Tournament 8 on my road to 1500 over the board. This is a game that comes after the brutal Game 1 loss due to this insane Chesscom trap. Check it out right here if you have not already. This is round 2. I played this game still a bit in my feelings about round 1 because, again, I felt like somebody stole my lunch money. I feel like I lost the game to a much weaker opponent because he had this Chesscom trick line memorized. It was a trick that I didn't know. I played knight f6, his knight sacked on f7, and he won my queen out the opening. But he even had a hard time winning the position, even after winning queen out the opening. But anyway, this is round 2. I'm still somewhat pissed about round 1. We had like little to no time at all to move on to calm down from the first round. So I made some inaccuracies this game that were not like typical of me, but it was a job well done because I did win the game. So I start out with the move d4. My opponent plays the move d5. I get straight into a London system here, guys. After the move e3, my opponent plays the move e6. Then I jump forward with my knight just developing. My opponent develops her dark square bishop. I drop my bishop back. My opponent plays the move f5, opening up this diagonal to her king. I was actually very surprised to see that. Then I play the move knight at b to d2. A bit of an inaccuracy, but again, just a normal developing move in the London system out of the opening. My opponent then plays the move e5. I cut, my opponent cuts. Then I play the move e4. My opponent develops her light square bishop to e6, and then I play the developing move of bishop to b5, pinning my opponent's knight to the king. My opponent played the move queen to d7, a completely game-losing move because now you're about to go down in material. I immediately make the move knight captures e5. The knight cannot recapture because it's pinned to the queen, and then my opponent then takes with her bishop. The computer here suggests bishop captures with the knight first, but I just recapture it with my dark square bishop. Bishop captures e5, and my opponent castle long, and then I made the beautiful move bishop captures c6. The reason why this is a great move is because if you take with the pawn here, it damages your king side, and then if you take with the queen here, then of course I'm going to pick up this pawn on g7. My opponent took with the queen. Now unfortunately you're going to lose some material with bishop takes g7. My opponent develops her knight, and then I win a rook, and then my opponent takes my bishop back, and then I take on d4, queen takes, and then of course I get castle. Right guys, everything so far so good. I didn't make any crazy mistakes, no mistakes, no blunders, maybe some inaccuracies, like maybe the computer suggested this move being a little bit more accurate, but that's why it's a computer and I'm a human being, right? My opponent then plays rook to g8, trying to get this checkmate off. Of course, we can't let that happen. So I play the move knight f3, developing my knight and at the same time stopping this checkmate threat. Bishop to g4, I just cut the queen, right? Then my opponent takes with the knight. Then I move my king over because what was happening here, if I would have kept my king on g1, he would have been able to take the knight. Then I couldn't take back because the pawn is pinned to the king. So in this game, unlike this game here, I did notice the pin there. So I moved my king out of the pin, and then my opponent played knight to f4. Now the reason why I say I was still in my feelings about round 1 is because in this position I was kind of like a little bit seeing ghosts. He got 3 pieces into this attack. I'm like, hold on, wait, what is going on here? You're a little bit too close for comfort. But really, I kind of worried about absolutely nothing, I guess you could say. I kind of overthought absolutely nothing there. But I played the move knight to f5. My opponent then backed up his bishop. Then I played the move g6, and then my opponent played this check. Now when my opponent played this check, I was still emotionally unstable from round 1, okay? I was still upset about round 1. So like in this position, I freaked out for like a half a second. I'm like, oh my goodness, what is this check? If I move king to g1, I automatically lose because my opponent has knight to h3, which will be a checkmate because this bishop controls this whole entire diagonal, right? So I freaked out for like 2 seconds. I'm like, hold on, wait, this is impossible. I don't have nowhere to go with the king. I have nowhere to go. This is like absolutely insane. But then I found this move, of course, f3, and then that just shuts down my opponent's entire attack. My opponent then jumps in with his knight. Then I play the move rook to d1, and my opponent plays rook to d8. And in this position, I'm like, okay, this knight is trapped. He can't move forward anywhere because obviously I got the rooks along this file, and then he can't back up anywhere. Like he can't play like knight to c3 because this pawn is obviously controlling that square. He can't back up knight to d4 because this rook is controlling that square, and he can't back up to f4 because this pawn is controlling that square. So I'm like, okay, the knight is trapped. The knight is trapped. So all we got to do is attack the knight and we will capture it. The move rook at f to e1 is obvious, right? Now, where's the knight going to go? It's going to go nowhere. It's going to become my knight. But guys, believe it or not, I don't know why I decided to play this in an unsafe and inaccurate way, because I made the game a lot more difficult for myself by playing the move rook to f2, because by playing it this way, yes, you're still attacking the knight, but you're leaving this piece unprotected, and my opponent has the ability now to call this check. Of course, I'm going to take the bishop, but pick up this unprotected piece. So that's the problem, right? When you could have just played it this way. Where are you going with the knight? And after bishop takes, of course, knight takes, and then after rook takes, rook takes. That's the proper way to play this. But again, I was still just a bit emotional about the last game. Like, I was kind of seeing ghosts with the 3 pieces over here. You know what I mean? I don't know what it was. So I calculated rook to f2 and when the rook was over here. I should have looked at it again, and I did look at it again. Before playing rook to f2, I knew it was not the move. But again, just a bit of a emotional tournament all the way around for some reason. I just wanted to win all my games so bad that I was tripping out. So anyway, I make that inaccuracy. Terrible move, right? Like I said, rook to e1. He doesn't get the tactic off that he gets. But anyway, I played a move rook to f2. My opponent then cuts, knight takes, and then he's able to play rook takes. And now I was a +4 before. Now I'm only a +1. And now this game has to be more difficult than it needed to be. And this game has to go into an endgame. So I immediately played a move king to g2. My opponent puts his knight on d4. I take, he take. And now we just play a ending here. I'm a +1 in material. He's got 3 pawns on the queen side, and so do I. And then I've got 2 pawns on the king side, and he only has 1, so I am obviously going to win this endgame. My opponent plays the move b6, and then I just get into, my attack here. I play rook to f8. My opponent moves forward, check. My opponent moves forward again. I pick up a pawn. My opponent pushes the a pawn, check. My opponent plays the move king to b4. I ask my opponent rook a question, and again, you're down in material, so you can't afford to trade. So of course my opponent runs away with the rook. I play the move rook to f4. My opponent keep pushing that a pawn. I play the move g4. My opponent plays rook to b1. I push my b pawn forward. He take, I take. And of course you can't take back because the c pawn is guarding the b pawn. My opponent then moves his rook forward. I play the move rook to c4, guarding this c pawn. But guys, it just went into an endgame that it didn't have to go into if I didn't play rook to f2. Instead of playing rook to f2, I should play rook to e1, and this game would have been over a long time ago. But unfortunately, it had to go into a longer endgame. And I just gotta promote these babies, and this is how the game goes. And eventually, my opponent in this position, I start walking up this h-pawn, and it was this moment after h5, my opponent extended her hand and resigned, because what are you going to do to stop this brutal attack? This rook here was controlling this file the entire time. These pawns can't go anywhere, and you can't stop this h6 followed by h7, and I'm going to queen, and you're going to have to get rid of your rook, and you're going to get checkmated. So in this position, my opponent just resigned. So this was a great game. It was good to get the win. I was upset at the game that I played rook to f2 and I should have kept all my material, and I made that inaccurate move, but that's okay, right? I still got the W. This was round 2 of this past weekend's tournament, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.